Welcome to the Type 1 Radio Lounge with me, Sonic, and
Steve. Steve, good afternoon, good evening, and from Brighton, and good afternoon in the United States.
And over in the States we have Reset. Hello, Reset.
Hello there.
And we have our special guest for this evening, Jay Parker. Hello, Jay.
Hi, how are you doing?
Excellent.
Yeah, very well, very well. Good to have you with us, Jay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Your Can I just start off with a quote from Mr. Don Croft from his book The Life Etheric with Carol Croft, and it says, "Can you see there is no contest in the struggle between their energy and ours? This is especially true when our technology turns their nasty energy into life force."
Yeah.
Which is an excellent little quote to get us started on the subject of orgonite with Jay tonight.
Yes, so if anybody wants to ring in and has any questions for Jay, the call-in number is 215-383-5877, or you can just use the Skype button on the Blog Talk page there. And if you've got any questions, you don't want to ring in, just use the chat over at friendshipagenda.com, and you can also listen to the show at type1radiolounge.blogspot and chat in there too. So yes, Jay, thanks for coming on the show and to discuss this very interesting awakening of the orgonite. How long have you personally been interested making orgonite?
Well, I guess it's at least 4 years now.
Okay. So a lot more experience than...
Well, no, I made my first lot 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm all new to this.
The way I found out about orgonite was I went to a website. As a researcher, I'm always following the rabbit hole down further and further. And I found a website called educateyourself.org.
Which is an excellent website.
Yeah.
And educateyourself.org, and if you wish to go to it, between the educate and yourself, you must put a slash, and or a dash, a horizontal dash. And educateyourself.org has a section called Orgone Generators, and that's a great place to start. And there's many products that they sell that are orgonite, like pyramids, tower busters, chemtrail healers, you name it, it's there. But they're rather expensive, so it's better to do the research and make them yourself. And Don Cross website, ethericwarriors.com. I'm going to give you a quick list for those at home of websites I believe that are essential in learning about orgonite, gemstones, and energy work in general. So the first one would be educateyourself.org, remembering that horizontal slash between educate and yourself, or else you'll go to some corporate website. Forget about it. So, and then ethericwarriors.com, and that's Don and Carol Cross' website, and there are tutorials there for making orgonite. There are many orgonite vendors listed on the website, and there is a forum. And it's just amazing how much information is on that website. Also, there is a website for people to go to called howtomakeorgone.com. And howtomakeorgone.com is literally a library of orgonite information. And there's just drop-down menus with all kinds of different packets of information about orgone, and I really highly recommend howtomakeorgone.com. Also, going on YouTube and just putting in the word orgonite will get you a myriad of self-help videos. And that's always great to see people out in America and throughout the world making little 10-minute videos about how they're making terror busters and just fighting the good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Also, on scribd.com, 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 you can punch into the search engine crystals and gemstones, and you'll find a myriad of books that will give you information on gemstones and crystals. So that's about my quick list of websites I would recommend if you want to get into making orgone.
Excellent. And so, my understanding is that this sort of technology, as it were, stems from the work of Wilhelm Reich and his orgone generators, which he was basically put in jail for, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because he was making these sort of boxes where people who were quite ill had go and sit in them for a while, and then it would basically make them better. And it would seem that the pharmaceutical companies at the time, and probably still today, don't really want that type of technology out there.
Well, there's no profit in that.
Yeah.
You're looking at healing from the wrong perspective. Mm. Healing is a money-making business of, basically controlling your symptoms while they bleed you for every penny you have.
Exactly, yeah. Keeping you alive long enough to get all the money out of you.
So how was the process? From your understanding of it, how has the process gone from taking the sort of theory behind orgone energy and how that is incorporated into the production of orgonite? Is it the use of the crystals in there, or is it the use of the metal, or the combination of the whole shebang, as it were, embedded in this sort of a resin stuff?
Well, the story that I got from Don Croft on this and other modern orgonite people is basically Wilhelm Reich made his orgone accumulators,
Mm-hmm.
and let me say a little theory that Reich had, and which has been proven correct as far as I know, is that in our holographic universe that we're in right now, the baseline of this reality has a life force energy, which I believe is the goddess. And that life force energy is a light blue light when it's been photographed using special Carillion photography.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, what Reich was doing, he was taking inorganic and organic sheets. So he would have inorganic metal, let's say steel wool, and he would make a big blanket out of that,
mm-hmm.
let's say 1 inch thick by 4 by 4, and then he would take a sheet of fiberglass resin, 4 by 4, and he would make these one layer of inorganic, another layer of organic, and he would, at least 3 or 4 layers thick of each, and he would make these cubes. And these orgone accumulators, people would sit in, and they were having healings from all kinds of things, like cancer and MS and different maladies. And once the FDA got a hold of that, they just started going after him like the Nazis that they are.
Yeah.
Eventually, they put him in jail in the 50s, and he died in prison. But what people discovered from the orgone accumulator boxes was that when you have the 50-50 mix of organic and inorganic material, and this is without gemstones or crystals, they found that it would, for some reason, resonate with the Gaian energy that's pervasive in our universe, and it would raise the vibration and the saturation point of that energy, and people could get healing from it. So what happened was that changed from just using steel wool to using aluminum flakes, brass, other copper and bronze chips, and polyester and fiberglass resin, and actually pouring it into molds with gemstones, and that's where we are today. And my work has got me to the point where I spent weeks researching through some of the websites that I've already given you, and I came up with what I call the 777 pendant. And I won't get into it completely, but let me say that I took a stone that relates to each chakra, and then I took what I considered a power stone that relates to different things that you would want in your life. And I could read this quickly, and people could go back to it. But as far as my research in trying to get combinations of stones in my these are for my personal protector pendants. And what I did was I actually made a chart of, you can, let's say, have the stone that's called carnelian, which is known primarily for the second chakra, but it also can be used for the first and third chakra also. So in my chart, I would put carnelian, and I would say I have one hit on the first chakra, one hit on the second, one hit on the third. And then I would take citrine, rose quartz, chrysocolla, fluorite, clear quartz, garnet, and that would be my first 7 chakra stones. So I go, first chakra would be garnet, second chakra would be carnelian, third chakra would be citrine, fourth chakra, which would be rose quartz, fifth chakra, chrysocolla, sixth chakra, which would be fluorite, and seventh chakra, clear quartz. Then I, through research, looked at 7 stones that were famous throughout the world for healing, for building up psychic power, for doing all sorts of positive things. And I put in my pendant what I call 7 power stones. And they are lapis lazuli, amethyst, sodalite, emerald, hematite, black tourmaline, and kyanite. And the way that I have these set into the pendant is that they are in order. So the garnet would be next to the carnelian, followed by the citrine, by the rose quartz, and I would do this in a circle in the pendant form. And so I end up with 14 stones, chips of stones, aligned in a circle around a copper coil. And behind that copper coil, I have a small point of AAA clear quartz, which is wrapped a minimum of 3 times with 20 gauge copper wire. And I also have 7 components in my pendant, and that's why I call it the 777. And of course, if you know anything of Mark Passio's work when he breaks down gematria, 777 is where God and man combine.
Yeah.
And that is the point where we need to go from the man that we have been programmed to be by this corrupt Tavistock Institute society. And we'll get into a little talk about some books you might want to read later, as far as the New World Order and the resistance movement to the tyranny that's coming down on the planet. But after I do my 7 chakra stones, I do 7 power stones and then 7 components. And the 7 components are a copper coil. I use a half cubit in length, a clear quartz point wrapped a minimum of 4 times, but I usually go 5 or 6 times around the point. Aluminum flakes is the inorganic component that I use. I use a 14 stone powder. So I'll take all my stones and I'll crush them in a mortar and pestle, which I have, which is steel. And I'll make a very fine powder. And the reason I make a fine stone powder, even though Carol Croft does not like people smashing their stones.
Yeah, I was going to say she doesn't like using powder either. She reckons it makes it, and it doesn't work if you break them.
I personally agree that there can be a problem when you overdo it. Okay, and I only use a very minimalistic amount of aluminum powder, which I get it at eBay, which is a 30 micron powder. And I also use just a little bit of the 14 stone powder, which I sprinkle over the clear quartz, which I put behind my copper coil.
Carol alludes to the fact that when you crush your crystals, you're breaking the lattice, and therefore the energy's not running through it properly.
And I think in that view, she may be correct, but I look at the work that Wentz has done. Are you familiar with him?
Say that again, Jay, sorry?
A German scientist by the name of Wentz.
I've seen a short video about him, yeah.
And he's found, and also I know that what's really strange is CT Busters, which are really good friends with the Cross, are working with really fine micronic powder also. And what he's doing with his pendants that have micronic aluminum powder in it and other things is he's using a device to actually synchronize the energy. So he's almost like programming the powder with an energy from a Bill Beck, radionic device.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't have a Bill Beck radionic device, so I just use a very small amount of both the aluminum powder and the 14 stone powder, and I throw my intention on it.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry, Jay. Are you putting all your gemstones together and crushing them to mix them?
One of the reasons I came up with the 14 stones that I use in my pendant, which is excessive. Okay, I'm hitting all cylinders here. It's like I don't want to leave anything out of the mix.
Yeah.
The reason that and you can get all these 14 stones at any rock and gem place. They'll sell you a little piece of tumbled stone for like $3. You can smack it with a hammer and get 50 pieces out of it. Okay, you don't need a lot. An 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch piece of garnet or carnelian would be fine to represent in your pendant. Okay. And the reason I have these lined up the way I do is, and I've chosen these particular stones, is they work well together. And you'll find different healers will say, if you have a problem, let's say, with your nervous system, then use chrysocolla and fluorite. That's not really true. I'm just using this as a example. So in my research on how to make organ.com, there is a gem and crystal database there, and also at scribe.com. So what I've done is I've just written down all the different combinations of stones which help one another. That's why my lapis lazuli is next to my amethyst, followed by my sodalite, because amethyst, sodalite, and lapis lazuli all work together harmoniously. So I want them together independent to bring that second energy into play. So I use a little bit of powder. I don't overdo it because I do believe that it would be better if I had a Beck energy device to actually throw some energy into the powder, so I don't go crazy with that. But with Wentz's work saying that the finer the material, the better the orgonite generation.
Yeah.
I felt, okay, I'll do a little bit, but I won't go totally crazy. I'm just following my heart here. Yeah. And so I also put in activated charcoal. I crush up a little activated charcoal and put a pinch of that in with my two powders right behind the coil where I lay my wrapped triple point. And then, of course, I have polyester resin as my inorganic component. And the friend of mine from Free Your Mind Conference, Michael Falsetta, took 7 of these pendants that I made to swim with the dolphins in Hawaii in a community of people there that are somewhat famous for energy work and healing and having open hearts and minds and being with the new paradigm. And the reaction I got was astoundingly good.
Yeah.
And I was also told by an energy sensitive there that my pendant was so powerful that you should wear it during the day but take it off at night. Literally have it on your body and on your presence, in your presence, only 2/3 of the time during the day. So basically I wear it during the day and take it off at night. And I've had, there was a crystal and gemstone person, 2 of them that had stores in Philadelphia, and they both looked at the pendant, the 777 pendant, and they both said that the work was excellent. And with all the research I went into the stones and the matrix that I make up, I really do believe it's a good piece of work. Mm-hmm. And I'm proud of it, and I'm sure I'm going to come up with new things and keep it make some things that are a little bit more simple. I'm definitely a big fan of making pyramids.
Yeah. They're beautiful, your pyramids on your video on the Friendship Agenda.
Yes.
Very nice.
Very cool.
And I'm going to be making, one of the things Michael Falsetta and I did, and, well, we're kind of, when it comes to the Free Your Mind Conference people, it seems like every city and every community has a handful of people that have gravitated because of the web together and are sharing healing modalities and consciousness-raising systems, and we're all coming together on the web and talking to each other about our particular problems in this world due to the falsehood of money and education and some of the other things that are destroying us, the lack of education, really.
Yeah.
But, I'm talking a lot, and I want to let you guys get in some stuff, but I want to tell this story that you'll like before we start chatting. Mm-hmm. So I've been making pyramids and tower busters and pendants for several years now, and Michael Falsetta is my partner in this endeavor here in Philadelphia. And one of the people that we've come in contact with is a man by the name of Alex Putney.
Oh, yeah. We know him.
From a website called resonance.org.
Yep.
And so you're familiar with Alex.
Yeah. He's been on Red Eye a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been on with Freeman a couple of times as well, and he's just his latest work was the Earth noises, which was fascinating. But please continue, Jay.
So Alex Putney is talking about the change that's coming, and I'm totally in agreement that we are going to go through a subatomic particle energy shift sometime in the next couple of years, and I believe it's already started. Because if the life force, cosmic energy, the divine Sophia, does not intervene, I believe that we will exterminate ourselves due to the psychopaths who run the modern banking system and governments. That they're hell-bent on annihilation. And having grown up in an Illuminati family and been subjected to their torture and mind control, I can tell you that if you do anything at this time in your life, you should stand in resistance to the New World Order with everything you have. And orgonite, for me, is probably one of the most important things that we can do because of the cell tower mind control system that they've set up. And we're going to talk about that too, I'm sure. But Michael Falsetta and I found a map on Alex Putney's website where he had shown on a United States map where he was aware of energy anomalies happening in the world. And I don't know if you've seen this map, but where I live in Philadelphia, there are several of these anomalies within 60 miles of Philadelphia. So what Michael Falsetta and I decided to do, we made two really premium pyramids, which featured not only the 5 wrapped crystals, coil wrapped crystals, but also a large amount of aventurine and other gemstones. And we took 2 of these pyramids and 40 tower busters, and we went to these anomaly areas that Alex Putney had put on his website, and we gifted the entire area. And when we went there, we used a program called Tower Company. There's a company called Tower Company, I guess it's .com, but you can sign up and it will give you the exact location of cell towers in your area, and it's free. So you go to towercompany.com and you punch up any area location that you would like, and it will give you a complete map and description of every cell tower that they know is in the area. And
is that worldwide, Jay, or is it just the States?
As far as I know, it's just the States, but I haven't even ventured to go into Canada or see what's going on in Europe. But it's definitely it's full America and probably Canada, from what I can see. But yeah, they towercompany.com could actually be you know, a worldwide
I'll certainly check that out.
So we went to we have done 2 energy anomalies in the area near Philadelphia, and this spring we're going to do a 3rd. So we'll actually have a triangulation of orgonite gifting around Philadelphia.
Excellent.
And I tell you, when you make a pan full of tower busters, and you just take a 3-ounce muffin pan, and you go on eBay and you buy chips of quartz crystal, and you can find eBay has tons of quartz crystals dealers. Most of them on eBay, you'll find that they'll be really nice $200 Brazil Lemurian crystals, well, which is really neat, but there are sellers on eBay like Crystal River Gems that'll sell you pound lots of like inch by inch and a half quartz crystal, and you can buy it by the pound for like $8 a pound, and that'll give you plenty of chips to make tower busters. But when you go out with another friend that's aware, and you gift these towers, you will never have a better day in your life.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
It's all right. Yeah.
I just made a handful myself today.
Well, how do you feel when you actually, throw a couple of TBs around the tower?
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, you can actually feel the divine matrix saying thank you. and you need to do this, people out there, and you should have orgonite around all your electrical devices, your computers, and always wear a pendant during the day, because as you go walking around, the orgonite has a range of, I've heard, a quarter mile.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah. That's certainly what Don says,
And there you are with your pendant on, or a nice chunk of orgonite in your back pocket, and people don't even know why they like you.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
They're just drawn. Drawn to the cool vibration.
Well, the bad energy has been converted into good. It's been converted into life-giving as opposed to life-destroying. That's correct, Jay.
In my studies of this, and it's been over 10 years now since I woke up from my MONARCH mind control programming. So as soon as I realized what I had been brought up in, I was hell-bent for David Icke.
Yeah.
And I read just everything I could get my hands on as far as the New World Order and the psychological manipulation. And so I do have a list of books that I've written down that I recommend, and we'll talk about that. But I want to say that growing up with an Illuminati family, what my parents knew about was all the occulted knowledge about how to manipulate energy in our world. And my mother would constantly be making amulets and little gizmos using organic and inorganic materials and gemstones and stuff, and she would make these things, and I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? And she was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing, because the knowledge of how different materials affect the ether is known by the dark occultists. It's also known by light occultists, too.
Yeah.
When you study what happened to, especially Western civilization, you'll find that from 1000 BC to the present time, there's been this banker religious oligarchy that has marched from Babylon through Rome, through Venice, through the Burgundy region of the Merovingians into London. And these Illuminati, or dark occultists, have, over the last 3,000 years, killed any group of people that they found that had wisdom that could stand up to their corruption. And that's why I'm a huge follower of John Lash's Gnostic Vision World.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he is right now putting out what I consider the SOS call to humanity to get off the couch and engage in life.
Yeah. Well, one of his book, Not in His Image, is probably one of the most amazing, profound books I've ever read in my life. It gave me a lot of answers to a lot of questions I didn't really know I was asking, if that makes sense. But completely concur with what you just said there, sir. Amazing.
Well, what is amazing, sorry, what is amazing is people in this world are taught to walk around in ignorance and just go with the flow. Mm-hmm. Well, when that yearning in your heart for understanding gets to the point where you really, to the universe, you say, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And here comes the World Wide Web, and you start doing searches on the web, and all of a sudden you're reading stuff till 2 in the morning. And you just start following that rabbit hole. And some of the things you'll read are disinformation, but generally what I've found, and I believe Mark Passio of What on Earth is Happening, and I agree with this, that if your heart is truly bent towards life and wisdom and knowledge and doing the right thing, the teacher will show up.
Yeah, yeah.
The information, and I've had the synchronicity of this happen so many times in the last 10 years, it blows my mind. Mm-hmm. And you gotta get in the arena of life and start being a plier.
Yeah.
The universe,
when you do that,
the universe provides when you need things, basically.
It really does, but the thing that we're in a situation right now, and I don't know whether you're following John Lash's Grokta Talk radio interviews.
Oh, yeah. Thomas Malone, amazing.
Yeah.
And we're at a point where the two sides of the pyramid, and this analogy, the one side of the pyramid is the darkness, and the other side of the pyramid is the light, and they're leaning against each other. And the darkness wants to knock the pyramid over. It wants to dominate and crush everything and just leave a pile of stones there. And basically, they've gotten to the point now with their Tesla technology and with their GMO and with their fluoride in the water that the human race is in deep peril. Mm. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I'm on Facebook, even though it is CIA book, and I just keep posting information. Yeah. I just keep, whatever I can do, I'm doing. I mean, if I have any money, I'm making orgonite tower buses and spreading them around. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I want to talk about is there is an energy grid system on this planet. My Illuminati parents would talk about this. And it's called the Dragon Pass, or ley lines.
Yep.
And right here in Philadelphia, we have the Arcadia Dragon Path runs from Boston through New York through Philadelphia.
Yeah, that goes from like Stonehenge, doesn't it? It's a line. Yeah. It goes right from Stonehenge right through all those cities. Interestingly.
Yeah, it's amazing that they decided to put all these cities right on the path.
Yeah.
Just a coincidence.
Well, we've got an event happening here in Britain in the summer called the Olympic Games. Are you familiar with these things?
No, I'm looking for a real good false flag there.
Yeah, well, the site that the Olympic site has been built on is a convergence of two massive ley lines.
Yeah.
It's in a place called Leighton and a place called Leytonstone, which is, and there's theories that this Olympic Games must have been planned for years, because it's, centuries even, because it is actually on a very, very, very powerful site. So they're going to be bringing, like you say, a false flag. Events will be,
lots of dark energy.
Yeah, lots of dark energy being, with the Illuminati torch being run into the middle of this thing and all that.
I saw this thing on, this guy put this thing on YouTube where there's a lot of talk about Saturn, and so he took the direct, I think it's like 33 degree, took about 33 Masonic things.
There you go. Yeah.
From, I think it was from from Trafalgar Square, and they went on a
Charing Cross too.
And it was, it went right to the Grand Lodge.
Right.
And then out from there, it went the distance in miles, and like an equal distance from the Sun to Saturn, and it ended up being smack bang in the middle of the Olympic.
There you go.
Like
Olympic,
park.
yeah, the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, and it almost looks like it's an eye as well from on Google Earth.
Oh my God.
Which is rather scary.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to say that the Illuminati is working out of the reptilian R complex of the brain, and they're very ritualistic. They love their history. They love to repeat the same evil over and over again. Yeah. And what I would say to people in Britain is, just go to that area and hit it so hard with orgonite that you totally turn their heads upside down.
Yeah.
Just smash them with orgonite. And one of the things John Lash was recently talking about with Thomas Malone was the citrine geode in the center of the Earth. Did you hear that talk?
No. I've missed a couple, to be honest.
Well, John Lash is putting out, through Tom Malone's Grok to Talk, tons of information right now. There's a new show every day.
Yeah.
And all I got to say is I'm into it because I had an experience as a child growing up in a monarch system where I was being raped and tortured and mind controlled. But I also remember being in my front yard and looking up at the sunlight coming through the trees and having a real experience of the planetary animal mother Gaia and me just hanging out together. And it was all light, it was all love, and I was like, cool, life is for fun, and you're always going to be there, and this is an adventure together that we're having, and this is really great. Of course, it didn't go over well with my parents, seeing me glowing with the Sophia energy. In fact, they would even say to each other, he's glowing. And what they did to me, essentially, was after they had murdered my best friend when I was 6 years old, I went to a neighbor down the street. Not everybody in the Illuminati town that I grew up in, 90% were pedophile human sacrificers, but there were 10% of the people in the town I grew up in that were not part of the cult. They just had a little sprinkling of normal people in there, I guess, to give them a little cover.
Yeah.
But to put this story in perspective, I went to a Christian down the street because my parents didn't like them. So I figured that'd be a good place to start. And I told them about my friend's murder. And he went to the police. And the police said to him, oh, we know what's going on in that town, but we can't help you. And I want people to understand that we're talking about an oligarch control grid over finance, politics, and religion that's 3,000 years old, maybe more. And these people have private armies like Blackwood. So when you look at some of these Rockefeller and Rothschild people, you have to understand they have armies of people working for them. Whether it's in the press, whether it's in government, they have infiltrated every aspect of society. The police, where I grew up, wanted to do something, but they knew they would only get killed if they attempted. And people look at the drugs pouring in to America from Afghanistan, and they say to themselves, why doesn't this stop? Why don't the police stop this? They can't, because they've got a gun to the back of their heads. And until you understand that the corruption in this society is that bad, you're not going to get it. You need to understand that the entire system is compromised, and only you sitting there, standing up and saying no more, is going to make it change, because only a united humanity can change this.
And it appears that the corruption is being orchestrated by the people that the majority of the population think, they're upstanding members of the community. How could they be involved in this? And I think that this power structures that's their main way in which it's allowed to. I mean, they're allowing it to go on because they're putting the gun to people's heads. But because it is the people in suits, doctors, judges,
upstanding members of the community, I mean, Don Croft often remarks about the pajama people and how people are just asleep and just letting it happen.
Like over here at the moment, there was a guy called Robert Green who just got sent down for a year because he was trying to stand for Parliament in Scotland to get to expose a paedophilic ring which involves various members of the establishment in Scotland. He got sent down for a year for handing out flyers where he was a paedophile that got community service, for having like 500 pictures of like kids on his computer. And he was a copper, I think.
He was a policeman, he was a...
it's a mirror, isn't it? It is Alice in Wonderland.
Well, the Holly Gregg story is, in my view...
That's the one, mate. Well done, that's the...
It's typical of what's going on all over Western society. And basically, like with the Franklin cover-up in the 80s in America, where it was on frontline headlines of the Washington Times that children were being taken from Boys Town in Nebraska and being used as pedophile prostitutes in the White House. And this was on the front page of the Washington Times in 89.
Yeah, 80.
And there's a book written about it, and a movie was made about it. And the thing is, as long as the controlled media gets to set the mindset and the agenda of how people relate to this world, okay, they just don't talk about these things. Oh, it'll come up occasionally, and then you'll see it just disappears. And it's the same with the scandal at the football facility at Penn State this year in America.
Yeah, we saw that.
Big story for a couple of weeks, and then slowly it just, let's forget about it.
Well, I think that's the way that most news works, isn't it? You get like a fairly good story, or like important story, and then it's sort of newsworthy for like 10 minutes, and then something else comes in, or some celebrity has just got a new dog, or
it's all entertainment.
So
in between the adverts and stuff.
So the news, even the news, like the supposed highbrow news, is just there as entertainment. It's not there as information, is it?
Yeah. Well, it's like Jay was saying, the people who are controlling the media now are the ones who are perpetrating these crimes anyway.
So maybe we'll just have a little break for like 5 minutes or so and listen to one of your fellow Philadelphian people. I think you may know them as the Maniac Agenda, Jay?
Yep.
Excellent. We have, I think it's right down, maybe, it's a little song called Dissolve, when we can find it.
If we can find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
See you in 5 minutes, yeah? There you go, that was the Maniac Agenda with Dissolve. Great tune there, good old friends of ours. So, are you there, Jay?
Yeah.
You know those guys, I take it?
Yes, in fact, Len Rizzo has quite a good friendship with Mark Passio of What on Earth is Happening, and they are both researchers into the esoteric.
Yeah. Well, Rizzo does good chakra work, doesn't he?
He's an energy healer, works with sound.
Yeah.
And he uses tuning forks.
Yeah. I've seen a few videos of, not with Rizzo, but with somebody else doing that. Oops. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one. So, what were we talking about before? We were talking about the Holy Greek thing and stuff like that. We're actually going to go on a mission to Aberdeen, which is the north of Scotland, where Robert Greene's been imprisoned, and actually hand out to every single citizen in that city the information about what's happened to him, so that everybody in that town knows, what they're actually dealing with. And it's have you heard of TNS radio?
No, I haven't.
Right, well, they're another radio. They're quite big. They're actually based in Ireland, but they're lots of activists. Their thing is called Finding Solutions, and they find solutions to, mortgage problems and just, the Nazi debt thing that we're involved with right now. And so we're gonna get involved with that. Go up and help them out. Hopefully get Mr. Green freed, although I very much doubt that will happen. But we have to do, like you were saying, we have to get off our sofas and go and do some things. I'm going to take a bunch of orgonite with me and gift the area and do all that.
When you study the history of the esoteric orders, you find that there's two things that they do consistently, and the first thing that I would recommend to anyone that wants to know truth, and that's why we're here, that's why we're alive. We're beings that are supposed to be a feedback loop for this matrix, to show growth and experience and get feedback and come into a synergistic understanding of what life is. And one of the things I see with the powers that shouldn't be is that they always attack people that have truth.
Yeah.
Whether it's indigenous tribes, whether it's the Cathars of France, you find that they keep going on these genocidal programs to conquer people that have knowledge that would get in their way. And then, like what they did with the Druids is an interesting point of this. The Druids were basically ancient Gnostics. And now the Illuminati, who now wear Druid robes and say that they're Druids, the Dark Illuminists, they have nothing in common with the original Druids. And I remember my mother discussing with some people about the Druids, and when my parents would be discussing dark occult stuff, they would kind of have a spiritual manifestation around them. They would change their energy pattern.
Their aura.
Very strange.
Yeah.
And one of the things that now I'm doing stuff online, so I'm not paying attention to what I'm saying. One of the things that I found was when they talked about the Druids or some other peoples, and it was part of this genocide program. You could tell they were like, yeah, we really took care of them. You know, you could feel it come off of them, like we conquered them, we infiltrated them, and now they're part of our system. And the thing is, when you look at history and you want to know truth, just look at what the people that the British American, banking system has attacked and treated terribly throughout the world in the last 200 years. And look at what those people believed as far as what life was, what our responsibilities individually and collectively were. And you look at the indigenous American Indians, and it was well known that a chief would never make a decision unless he had pondered deeply what the effects of that decision on the people would be for 7 generations. And now we have a system of people ruling us in these governments that they can't even think a week ahead.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that has, helped me grow is, and this is how I found John Lash, was the realization that the Gnostics were the most persecuted people on the planet in the last 2,000 years. And anyone that did any experimentation with their consciousness with ethnogenic compounds like mushrooms or DMT, they're the devil. Yeah. And what you have to see with these people is one of their primary modus operandi is they always accuse their enemy with the crimes that they do.
Yeah.
And you'll find when they went into Libya, well, he's a murderer. He's a mass murderer. Yeah. He's unfair to his people. He's this, he's that.
Well, we know all about that, so we've got first-hand experience, so we can say that. That's basically what they're saying, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, if you get a base knowledge of how this evil system works in the world, when you watch television news program, you'll just sit there and go, oh, just whatever they say, think the opposite, and you'll understand reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now they want to go into Syria, and, they've shut off Syria's banking system, and they're preparing to arm Al-Qaeda for an attack, and they're going to do it. And the Russians and the Chinese have already said that it's unacceptable. Russia cannot afford to lose that naval base in Syria. And things could get really ugly really quickly. So my money is on the goddess intervening.
I think it, for the people in Syria, I think it's already got pretty ugly.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate that these journalists are getting caught in the crossfire, but I mean, that's nothing compared to the lives of the Syrians that have been.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it seems that it's only just newsworthy when those people get killed. But it's like headline news when some Western journalists and cameramen, their deaths are equally abhorrent. And I think the idea to just maybe take a step back and stop the killing on all sides. That's what.
Well, they're complicit in the deaths anyway for covering it and bringing it to bringing their side of the story to the screens anyway, sort of thing in the newspapers. So who's to say their life's not more important than some woman who bears a child in Syria?
Yeah.
It's very awful. It's awful. Yeah. But yeah, Jay, you're right. We can stop this. We can stand up and start gifting instead of start killing.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that Don Croft talks about on his website, ethicwarriors.com, is the whole grid of cell towers that's now throughout America and most of the world.
And the world, yeah, the world.
And it's interesting that these cell towers have a frequency which is very close to the frequency of the human mind. And they're what?
Interestingly enough.
Yeah. Who knew that they would pick a frequency that would interfere with your biological processes?
Yeah.
And one of the things that these cell towers do is, because the frequency is so close to the natural frequency that our cell membranes use to communicate in body, is the cells do not know what this energy is, and they feel that they're under attack. And Bruce Lipton talks about this in his excellent work, Biology of Belief, and also Wisdom of Your Cells. And Bruce Lipton is somebody you need to hear his work.
Yeah.
And essentially, we are epigenetic creatures. And when the energy that is attacking our body, whether it's fear-based energy coming through the collective consciousness, or it's cell tower energy attacking our cell membranes, it causes a epigenetic reaction in our systems. And with this epigenetic reaction, we can either devolve or evolve. And the choice is what energy we're holding in our hearts and minds and what we're allowing ourselves to be exposed to. We know that the goddess is going to try to evolve us back into a sane species. We have been run for the last 3,000 years by a cabal of psychopaths. They believe that human sacrifice is a good thing. It feeds, that blood feeds the energy of their gods. And when I grew up, I witnessed many human sacrifices. And these people totally go completely elated when they're axe murdering somebody. They love it. And what happens, and Bruce Lipton talks about this, and you need to get his information, and it's out there. But the first 6 years to your life, you're in a complete download mode, getting your base consciousness, your subconscious program. And so you can't differentiate between any information that's coming into you. During that time, if you grow up in a society that's satanic, you're going to get a base programming that's going to be warped, that's going to be uncaring, and basically it's going to be homicidal. This is why people wonder why there's so many of these Satanists around. In generational Satanism, because they break down the human consciousness and basically possess these people with this negative energy, they're zombies. And so they continue generation after generation putting their children through this same system. Now, for me, as my mother said, that, you know, they really broke the mold when they made me. I was a freak in my family and was totally not into what they were doing. And after they killed my best friend when I was 6 years old, I tried to get the police involved, and they went to the Christian down the street and they threatened to kill his son and told him.
Regarding that, surely this lad had some. Your friend had parents. Were they involved in it as well, or did where did they think that their kid went?
When the particular child that was murdered, that was my best friend when I was 6 years old, basically his colon was torn during a satanic gang raping, and he went septic. And so it took him 3 days to die. And they finally, on the second day, when he was so sick, they sent a veterinarian who was called to go look in on him. And the sepsis had gotten to the point where there was nothing that could be done, and they just let him die. And the family that lived in my town, that was one of their two sons, they immediately left town and moved to California. And it was all very hush-hush.
Hey.
But what I want to say is that after they had threatened the Christian that they would kill his son, and that they made him know that they controlled the police in the area and there was nowhere he could go, they also threatened a family member of his that lived in the United Kingdom. That same self-day, they made sure that his brother from the UK called him and said people came and said they were going to kill him. So he realized that he was surrounded and society wasn't what he thought it was.
So basically you grew up in a situation akin to the Wicker Man.
Well, I don't know that.
In the
movie.
Yeah, it's in all intents and purposes, everything seems normal, and then there's the dark underside of the town.
Well, that's actually just an analogy of the way cult civilizations work, because they have different alters, different personalities. So you have this one personality in my mother who was a really caring, hardworking teacher, and then if you saw her riding right at the Satanic Temple, torturing children, you wouldn't recognize it as the same person, because when they manifest, they become somebody totally different. And what I wanted, the reason I'm bringing this up is, in my region, in my area, I grew up in the Philadelphia region, and so I have identified 4 different towns in this area that I know for a fact are predominantly cult-controlled, where, you know, the majority of people, 90% plus, would be pedophile mass murderers. And people don't understand that what the Illuminati have done due to generational Satanism is like these wealthy, let's say that they're DuPonts or Rockefellers, with their money and their power, they have minions. And what they do is they get the minions to follow them in the dark occult. And they say, we're going to take care of you and your family, you know, forever. Okay? Just go along and be a minion in our control grid. And these people serve the elite, these dark occultist elite, and, you know, they don't have a problem with it. You know? And they're controlling all the levers of society's power. But let's get back to something positive like orgonite.
Yeah, please. We've actually got a question for you, Jay, if you don't mind answering. What do you think of Moldavite?
Not really familiar with it.
It's an off-world crystal, apparently. How do you pronounce it? Moldavite?
Moldavite, yeah.
Apparently it's an off-world crystal.
Yeah, Karen in the chat room had mentioned that something about if you have it on you for, you know, extended periods of time, it could be cancerous, or something about that. I think she had heard someone was putting it in orgonite, maybe.
Well, when I do searches on how to make orgone, and I follow different gemstone searches, I mean, you're talking about hundreds of different stones out there. and combinations of stones, are going to create different etheric fields. That's why in my 777, I stick with the tried and true.
Yeah.
And I know there's just a myriad of stuff out there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got notebooks full of it, but Moldavite
Karen
is something I haven't used.
Okay, Karen in here just added a little comment. She also said, it's off-world fell to Earth 15 million years ago, resonates with Om, O-M, and the sun, I guess. So if that's all you know about it, I mean, that's all you can say. But
no, I'm not saying that anything negative about it. In fact, I'm definitely going to make a note on that and see what I can come up with.
Excellent.
okay.
Do you want to go through your list of books then,
I had a
James?
situation where I was talking about dolomite. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, dolomite, yeah.
Now, is it true that dolomite will send negative energy back to somebody who's casting spells?
I've heard this, yeah. It'll send it right back to the
source.
Yeah, back to the source of the evilness, yeah. It's
Now,
a reflection, yeah.
I haven't done any work with dolomite, but I was thinking about it, and I was talking to an energy sensitive that's a friend of Len Rizzo's in New Jersey one day, and I was showing him my work, and he really liked it. And he said to me, I said, well, what do you think of dolomite? I'd like to make some devices where you could actually attack the enemy, send their crap back at them. And he said, oh, well, we don't do that. We only do positive things. And I was like, these are mass murdering pedophiles. There comes a time, and this is what John Lash is talking about, where you're going to have to stand up for humanity. You can't just be a dish rag forever.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, that's not being negative. That's just sending it back from whence it came.
Absolutely.
It's just actually passing it back. So you're just saying, it's like what John Lash was saying about the Archons. And all you have to do to defeat the Archons is just say, no, I don't want you, go away, just go about your business elsewhere, sort of thing. So therefore, it's not a negative thing.
And absolutely. And what happens with Illuminati families and the minions is in the systematic trauma-based mind control is what they try to do is beat you down to where you have no critical thinking whatsoever.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that the Internet is starting to bring back to human consciousness through people like Jan Irvin talking about the trivium.
Yeah, exactly.
And once you start to look at Jan Irvin's work on the trivium, you realize how much ancient knowledge just there in the Greek school that totally went poof. Where did it go? How could something so critical, and this is why I love Mark Passio's work, it's how could an understanding of life and human consciousness so critical just disappear off the face of the earth? And this is because our masters attack and destroy any schools of teaching where people would be self-empowered.
Yeah, I know.
And this is what we're facing. I mean, you look at Charlotte Iserby. Are you familiar with her?
No. I'm not.
This is something to write down, is Charlotte Iserby, the deliberate dumbing down of America.
Right.
And she was a assistant secretary of education under Reagan.
Oh,
and,
there you go.
Well, she was one of the good people.
Okay.
And she was a good friend of Anthony Sutton. Are you familiar with Anthony?
Yes, yeah, I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Sutton wrote Hitler and Wall Street and the Bolsheviks. And his research into education and our education system worldwide is totally a communist mind control system.
Yep.
And in fact, in I believe it was 93, Ronald Reagan signed a treaty with the Soviet Union to merge our education systems.
Yep. Perestroika.
Yeah. Well, you know, the whole thing is going to collapse because of the derivatives market. So that's why when people talk about prepping and getting ready for what's coming down the pike, you know, definitely if you can store some food, you know, get some gold and silver, whatever you can do to try to be somewhat prepared for a total economic collapse, you know, you should try to do it. Because there's $1,500 trillion worth of derivatives in the current financial markets. And this debt can never be paid.
No, exactly right, yeah.
And eventually, even the printing presses and the computers that make money out of thin air are not going to be able to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today I was just I just put on RT News, Russia Today, and the kind of report was on. And he was talking to this guy from some internet site, and they were talking about file sharing currency, which is the thing that they're really fucking scared about, where because of the advent of like file sharing tunes and everything like that. The currency is the next thing.
Well, the currency is the next thing. That would just flatten it then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Completely, yeah.
So this is the thing that they're so scared about, and you know, usually Max is quite on the money there.
Yeah. There's also the White Hat project. Have you heard of this, Jay?
Yeah.
About the dragon families and all that. I mean, the Lord Blackheath has just made another statement to the House, which is fantastic, and he's you know. That's hopefully they're going to end, or to some extent, the cabal that's you know, trying to control everything right now.
Well, one of the things I look at with Benjamin Fulford and this whole system of financial terrorism that has been going on since the end of World War II is you look at the Chinese and the Japanese and the other BRIC nations, India, Russia. Basically, they've been getting the shaft on this thing for 45 years, 50 years.
Yeah.
And you look at the gold that they stole from China, and they return.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, when they were supposed to return the gold, the next day was 9/11.
It was 9/11, exactly right, yeah.
So when you really start to go down the rabbit hole and do some proper historical research, which is now available because of the web. So there's a lot of disinformation out there. I mean, I really wish the Andromedans would show up and save everybody, but you know, they seem to be waiting for the Pleiadians. I don't know. you know, there's goofy stuff out there, but when it comes to the financial terrorism of the Anglo-American system, the BRIC nations really are trying to do something to save themselves, because they understand that if Iran falls and Syria falls, you know, basically the world is just going to be one giant McDonald's.
All right, well, apart from Syria and Iran, yeah. Well said, Jay. Excellent point.
And then they'll be getting all the people on the dole to work there for free, like they're trying to do over here at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mark Masco at What on Earth is Happening has a website that has like 90 podcasts on it, and
I recommend it.
Yeah, so that's whatonearthishappening.com, is that, Jay?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And he is teaching PhD level psychology and ancient knowledge, and he's one of my best friends here in Philly, and we talk a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of the work he does.
Yeah.
And the more people like myself and you guys that just get in the arena and start stirring up the pot, You have no, I have no idea how powerful it was when Michael Falsetta and I put orgonite around those vortexes of Alex Putney's. But the day we did that, each of those days, we were both so spiritually high. We were like freaking out, like, dude, this is real.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
what are we doing? And I don't know what the real effect is, but when I think about what Gaia is trying to do, especially I know that orgonite definitely affects their control grid with the cell towers. You just can't gift too much orgonite. It's like love. You can never have too much. And people, you know, have trouble right now because finances are not that good in the world, because you have to look at the central banking system of this world as like a garden hose. And whenever the powers that be want to, they turn the water pressure up, and everybody starts building and growing and taking loans out, and times are good. And then they take the hose and they bend it in half and cut the water off. And then everybody's left there, you know, in the blink of an eye, dying of thirst, and everything dries up. But when they do that kind of musical chairs financial shenanigans, you know, they call it the business cycle, what they're really doing is they unleash the potential of humanity by increasing the money supply. And then they cut it off due to a crisis nobody could foresee, and then they buy up all the effort and work of people for pennies on the dollar. And they keep doing that. And we went through the crash of 29 and all the different recessions. And if you look at the history of this, it's nothing but manipulated fraud.
Yeah.
And thank God for the internet, more and more people are becoming aware of this. You know.
Well, I always I've got this analogy that the internet is the way that it's developing is Sophia's self-awareness. Like, we are Sophia's self-awareness, and she's awakening.
And she's reopened the mystery schools via the internet.
Yeah, yeah. And all the information that's on the internet is almost her omniscience of, you know, because there's so much information there that's accessed by us all instantaneously. It's almost like the self-awareness of the planet itself. But we need to, so that's like a manifestation of that awareness in an electronic form, and we've just got to get that sort of awareness without the internet. The internet is a tool.
We've got to glean the good stuff without being next to the shit stuff. Well, I would never have known about orgonite if it wasn't for the internet, so all power to that for doing it, Solomon.
Well, it's a invention of a man that the powers that be murdered. And so whenever I see a philosophy or a wisdom teaching coming from someone who was murdered by the powers that be,
you know,
I research it deeply.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously something there they don't want you to think or believe.
Yeah.
And
not only did they kill him, they burnt all his books.
Yeah. They try to wipe him out, but you can't. See, that's the thing about good energy like that. You can't kill it. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be there to be rediscovered or, reawakened to, sort of thing. You should also go on, Jay.
Well, people now are trying. There's many Tesla groups now that are trying to figure out, all the free energy stuff that Nikola Tesla did.
Yeah.
And it's a big topic on the net. I mean, we're still using internal combustion engines, and I don't think anything could be more antiquated than that.
Yeah, yeah. And also people like George Pigott, who G. Wood goes on about quite a lot in her book, Where Did the Towers Go? And people like John Hutchison, who sort of recreating Tesla and George Pigott's experiments out of his own little invention.
Garden shed.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what's amazing about Judy Wood's book, Where the Towers Go, is when I first heard the no planes theory, okay, and I'm sure as a 9/11 researcher, you've heard that.
Yeah.
Then I saw the movie that someone had created to show that the planes were basically inserted into the film.
Yeah.
And you listen to Jim Fetzer, who's on Bob Tuskin's show quite a bit. And if the towers had simply been blown up with high explosives, there would be a pile 14 stories high.
And it would have taken about 2.5 minutes to come down, at least.
Yeah.
And there would have been a flash that would have blinded the whole of the United States as well.
Yeah.
It's thermite, yeah.
Rather than...
Well, thermite is what? One of the weakest explosives out there. It's 13 times less powerful than dynamite. It's an excellent cutter of steel, though.
Yeah. It can do that to a certain extent.
Well.
It can't make it turn to dust, though.
No, and it can't leave paper. It can't burn on paper.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I first heard about the particle weaponry talk back in the early 2000s, like 2004, I mean, I was like, oh, they're really going out to town. And I thought it was a disinformation campaign. But as I kept going down the rabbit hole and learning about things like Nikola Tesla and the Nazi Bell experiment that Joseph Farrell writes about, you realize that Tesla physics was the correct physics and Einstein physics was the banker lie.
Yeah.
That's why
Jewish physics is known as.
Well, you know, it's unfortunate to put that label on it.
Yes, I know.
Because one of the families that Einstein was good friends with was the Warburg family. And if you don't know about that, that's something you can research. But Einstein was very close to the Warburgs. And Paul Warburg, the brother of Einstein's close friend, I forget which Warburg it was, but he was actually the main force behind the Federal Reserve being brought into fruition.
There you go.
There's a nice picture I've seen of Paul Warburg and Einstein sitting in tux and tails in New York at some function.
So those Warburgs, are they like maybe ancestors of like Mark Wahlberg, the Hollywood actor there?
Oh, I don't know. I find it interesting that when it comes to the powers that be, it's all in the family.
Yeah, well, it's all bloodlines, isn't it?
It's family connections all over the place, and especially if you're the U.S. president.
Yep. Well, you have to be related to the Queen to be the U.S. president, don't you?
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
It's worth mentioning as well that you mentioned Jan Irving earlier, giving out his website, which is Gnostic Media, and that's a brilliant resource for learning about all things trivium, quadrivium, even Kabbalah stuff and all that. It's all there. He's an amazing scholar.
And maybe just at this juncture, we could just say to another Jay, our friend Jay, Free Energy Jay. He's in hospital at the moment having major heart surgery. So everyone could just send in some positive vibes, and all our love goes out to him.
Absolutely.
To make
Better, Jay. We're thinking of you, man.
Yeah.
But we'd also just like to mention as well that Freighter X's show tonight is a open mic like this one, so you can call into Freighter later on.
And is Josie Farrell on tonight?
No, he's not on tonight. He's cancelled till the 10th of March, basically. So
okay.
Do that. But Jay, we've got about 20 minutes left. So do you want to run through that list of those books and those resources that you were talking about earlier?
Sure. Well, I cannot stress enough that you need to go to Etheric Warriors, I keep saying etheric, ethericwarriors.com. That's Don Croft's site. There are tutorials on his website. There are just massive amounts of reading and information, but also many vendors. So you'll be able to take a look at what different orgonite people are doing in their online stores throughout the country and, Canada and the UK. The educateyourself.org has a great resource on it called Orgone Generators, and there's also other Don Croft material at educateyourself.org. Don't forget the horizontal slash between educate and yourself. HowToMakeOrgone.com has lists of gemstones. It has all kinds of different tutorials on it. It's a great site. Scrib.com has you just punch into the search engine crystals and gemstones, and there's all kinds of free books there. And it's relatively cheap to go on eBay and buy a pound of inch and a half by inch chips of clear quartz and buy a gallon of resin for $35 fiberglass resin. Buy yourself a 3-ounce muffin pan. If you just coat the muffin pan with Vaseline before you put the aluminum flakes, I just wanted to mention this. I get my aluminum flakes for my devices from a company called 80/20 on eBay. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And although I did a search to try to find the exact product number, I couldn't find it. But you could probably send 80/20 company on eBay a message and tell them you want to buy aluminum scraps by the pound, and they would give you a hookup there. The best price I found on fine, clean aluminum scrap in the world is from 80/20, and they're located in Indiana, and they're a very large aluminum manufacturer.
So could you not use just like baking foil as an alternative?
Aluminum foil, yeah, you can, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people I know go to scrap yards and try to find brass clippings from different machine shops and stuff like that.
All good.
It's not impossible to find metal scraps, and just do eBay searches and see what you can come up with. But 80/20.
Hey Jay. No.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go on. Just got a question for you after you finish this thought.
Sure. No, go ahead. I got my 80/20 plug in. I'm happy.
Okay, well, with aluminum, I had been using, rather than, cooking aluminum foil, I had been cutting up soda cans and using that for aluminum, but I heard that the way that the aluminum for the soda cans is processed, that might not be the best aluminum to use. Do you have any opinion on that or any knowledge about that?
Now, when it comes to things like that, like using crushed stone or what alloy of metal, when I'm going to Etheric Warriors and they post, Etheric Warriors always post the latest information on making orgonite, and that's one of the things that they do at that website is freely share information and research, and that's a great place to go and try to see if you can find information relating to that. But
okay.
I mean, you look at the original accumulators that Wilhelm Reich made were steel wool, you know, right off the shelf steel wool.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. It was basically metal and fiberglass or polyester resin.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep that 50-50 mix of organic and inorganic, you're going to get a reaction with the goddess energy.
I've got a question about crystals, Jay. Is it absolutely necessary to cleanse them before you use them?
Well, I know when I get a chance, I do leave my crystals out in the sun when there's a sunny day. I have a tray where all my quartz is, and if there's a good day out there and it's not too many chemtrails, I will throw them out there.
What, just in the open air? You don't put them in salt water, or?
No, a lot of people I know do the sea salt and filtered water. You know, I personally, I guess I'm not that super hung up because I believe that when I make my devices, I've got, you know, all my stuff laid out, and I'm making my devices, and I'm so plugged in my spirit that I'm making Illuminati destruction devices that, you know, whatever's there, because, you know, I got that intention in my devices, and I think Don Croft is right about that.
Yeah.
That your intention goes much further than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, sure. Because I've actually heard about you programming your orgonite, but that's absolutely not necessary because you're doing it with the intent of love, basically. So you are programming it with those intentional thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, we're multi-dimensional beings. We have unlimited power psychically, and we've been told for thousands of years that we're nothing but cattle.
Yeah.
Ignorant scum of the universe. You know. And then right now, we're at a crossroads, and David Icke has read about this, and so many other people who are paying attention. We have to stand up and speak into reality, the world we want. We cannot be passive anymore. I mean, when you have psychopaths that are driving the car and they're dead drunk, you have to take them out of the driver's seat and grab the wheel yourself.
Exactly right, yeah.
And I have to say this. When you talk about Holly Gregg and what they did to Mr. Green, passing out leaflets exposing corruption, and they put him in jail for a year. There was an incident in New Hampshire recently where a man saw a criminal leaving the neighbor's house, climbing through the window. He grabbed a pistol, went out and confronted the robber. And in that confrontation, because the robber was a young, strapping man, 30 years old, and the citizen was 61 years old, he said he fired one shot into the ground to let the criminal know he was armed and he was ready to use the weapon if he had to. And he called the police and told them he was going to accost this robber, okay? You know, or after he stopped him, he called the police on his cell phone or something. The police came and they arrested the man for firing a warning shot into the ground. Which actually has jail time attached to it, I think at least a year. The town in New Hampshire was so outraged at this story, they forced the police to drop the charges. Okay?
Yay.
And this is what needs to be done in the Holly Gregg case.
Yeah.
People have to come together and make a big enough stink about this that they cannot deny the reality of this.
It turns out that he was on his way to hand out some flyers, so he didn't actually hand anything out, and yet he still got charged with the breach of the peace, which just seems so bizarre.
Well, I don't understand that you have a society where you cannot. I mean, it wasn't like he was. Even if they pass out flyers here in Philadelphia, I mean, it's not. You offer the flyer to the person. If they don't want it, you just don't hand it to them. You know. How can we say we're in a free society when you cannot have a free exchange of information?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's quite obvious we're not in a free society these days.
Yeah, and these cases that are coming up more regularly now are maybe they're just like little wake-up calls for people, for more people to realise. I mean, there's that old adage of the in Germany where the guy, he says, I don't know whose poem it was, but it says, if I don't stand up for this person, then who's going to stand up for me when they come for me? And it's that sort of situation that's going on. You know, we've all got to stand up for each other, and maybe we don't need to go at it with the same volition that he's coming back at us. Maybe we just need the people that are supposedly representing our best interests to actually represent our best interests.
Yeah, and if they don't, they should be removed from their jobs because they're not doing their jobs correctly.
Yeah, and put in jail for the crimes that they've committed. Is that too simplistic?
That's way too simple, yeah. So one second, Jay. We've got 10 minutes of the live broadcast left. So if there's any major points you want to make to the public,
well, you can go on YouTube and just punch in EMF.
Yeah.
Electromagnetic frequency.
I'm a great advocate of that, Jay. I must admit, I use it regularly.
Well, if you want to know what cell towers are doing to your cellular membrane, there's several doctors out there that have YouTubes that talk about the actual frequency disruption of your cell membrane. And you can find them on YouTube by just putting in EMF pollution or EMF, and they'll really get you to make orgonite.
Yeah. So I thought you were talking about something else there. The
band.
No. No, the meditative.
No, you're
that's emotional freedom technique.
Emotional freedom technique, yeah.
EFT,
yeah,
which I'm a big fan of. It's helped me.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to there, not the EMF.
Well, that's another thing that people, when you look at what Bruce Lipton talks about in his work, that for the first 6 years of your life, you're given your subconscious, which runs 99% of your existence. If your first 6 years, you're being taught by a public school system, given religious indoctrination, all sorts of cultural herd mentality programming, and there you are, you're an adult, you have your own life now, and you're really not happy with who you are. Well, one of the things you need to do is learn about EFT and start tapping out those negative programs that are making you unhappy. And they're all in your subconscious, and the only way to deal with them is to use one of the energy psychologies that's out there, because you cannot change until you change your subconscious.
Exactly. The first act of changing the world is sorting yourself out.
Changing yourself, yeah. Revolutionize at home.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the things I want to recommend to people is to listen to Mark Passio because he's really a teacher. And his podcast, he gives descriptions of whatever he talks about on the show that day. And, I mean, if people only knew just how bad GMO food really was and what fluoride really is doing to them. I mean, we're under attack here through the vaccines, through the GMO.
Yeah.
We've got to keep... See, I love the fact that we're now friends. We're going to be sharing information. I share information with Bob Tuskin, with Frater Rex, and, you know, we call each other, you know, once every couple of weeks, and we're forming a nexus of the new mind, of the new paradigm.
Yep.
And
we're on board with that start all the way.
So Mark's show goes out on Oracle Broadcasting on Sunday nights. Is that 8 p.m. Central?
I thought it was American Freedom.
Well, it's 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in PA.
Okay.
Yeah, we normally podcast it.
Yeah,
listen to podcast.
It's on at silly o'clock in the morning on the Monday morning.
He's getting about 1,200 podcast listens a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
He done a Red Ice program last week, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has spent 25 years. How would you like to come into this world? And you should see his library. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, it's an entire wall of books.
Yeah. I have actually seen a picture of it on. Freeman has done these little films called the Miss Emily thing, and it scans over and it's just vast.
Yeah.
And he's read them all.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah. He knows his stuff. You can just by listening to him, you can tell he knows what he's talking about. He's got a great voice as well, hasn't he? He's got a very you're right. He is a teacher.
Yeah. So it's changing the mentality of where people's heads are at. That's going to save us, and it's just one personal contact at a time.
Yep.
And, you know, you can start making orgonite and hit the towers in your neighborhood. And, you know, it'll probably all told to get set up with aluminum, metal shavings, a few gemstones just to get a little fancy. I mean, it'll cost you less than $100. You could make, you know, over 100 devices.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll never be happier. Yeah. And I just want to tell this little story about Mark Passio. He's teaching some family members how to eat organic because their health is bad. And so he takes them to get organic food, and they're cooperating somewhat. And he's helping his one relative that has diabetes by going raw and reducing his insulin intake. And so they're sitting down to a meal, and Mark's with them, and they're drinking iced tea. And the iced tea, Mark takes a look at the package. The first ingredient is a chemical anti-caking agent. The second ingredient, and this is by volume, by weight, I mean. The second ingredient is aspartame, and the third ingredient is tea.
Fucking hell. So basically,
he says to them, no, it's basically anti-caking agent and aspartame.
Yeah.
And so he says to him, well, you shouldn't drink this. I'll go make you a pot of rooibos organic tea and bring it to you immediately. And don't drink this swill. It's bad for you. And they said, nah, we're going to stick with our iced tea.
Oh, dear.
Even though they knew what aspartame was.
Yeah.
And Mark said to them, how could you do this to yourselves? How could you not want to protect yourself from eating poison and cytotoxins? And they looked at him, and the one person said, I guess it's because I really don't love myself.
That's
well, that's what aspartame does to you, doesn't it?
But what I'm saying is, we've been programmed not to love ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's why when you read books like Tavistock Institute by John Coleman.
Yeah, well, I've read a Committee of 300.
Yeah, actually,
got quite a lot of Tavistock Institute in there, isn't it?
And Tavistock will punch you right in the guts, but that book I recommend because when you read that book, you'll understand that your entire society is engineered from top to bottom, left to right.
Yeah, and yeah, a very people over here will immediately know one of the like hierarchies of the Tavistock Institute. David Owen, who used to be the leader of one of our three. I say three. There is only one, obviously. One of the three parties. I think they were called the Social Liberal Democrats or something like that at the time. And
SDP. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very dark man.
He even looks like Dracula.
Yeah. He looks a bit like Peter Mandelson's dad. Don't know if you know who Peter Mandelson is, but I think he's another Tavistock too.
Yeah. Well, Hitler went to Tavistock. I mean, Sigmund Freud, didn't he run the Tavistock Institute?
Well, it was actually his cousin, Edward Bernays,
The
real big mover and shaker in social engineering in America and in England. One of the things I want to say is when you had the 7/7 bombings, the bus that blew up and was directed off its normal route, where it went to explode was right in front of the Tavistock Institute.
Yeah.
So those Satanists were inside that building watching that
go on,
sacrifice.
Jesus, Pete.
And that's why I can't recommend enough the book Tavistock Institute by John Coleman, because he really breaks down all the different ways that society is being manipulated and engineered. Education, Madison Avenue, the whole 9 yards. But my final thought here, and then I'm going to go, is we're going to beat them not by gargling with sewage. And that's talking about all the corruption constantly and all the problems. To me, I call it gargling with sewage.
Good enough.
Because you're not going to get anything positive out of it. You are going to wake people up to the problems, but you're not going to teach them any solutions. You know?
Yeah.
And what we're going through as a species is, one, we're becoming aware of reality, not the dream world that we've been given through TV. And so we have to know about the corruption, but also we have to know who we are and where we are, and start doing things that are self-protective and self-empowering. And we're well on the way, because we have a nucleus on the web that is growing day by day. And we're teaching one another, and we're sharing, and we live for each other's happiness.
Yep, absolutely.
That's why, if we can keep the web open, we're going to win it.
So keep going, Jay.
Well, I'm just saying we're a community, and I like the fact that, for the most part, in America, where they've brought in massive amounts of illegal aliens or immigrants, most of the Americans I know that, and I have contact with Mexicans that are here illegally work, and we get along great.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that they thought that they could divide and conquer the world with was this immigration policy. But for the most part, people understand that we're all just people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're all just human.
Excellent.
That's a beautiful sentiment to end on. So thank you so much for joining us, Jay. It's been absolutely fascinating talking to you, and hopefully you come back on one day again.
Yeah, I'll definitely get some videos up. It's a little bit cold in my shop still, and that's why I haven't gotten new how to make orgonite videos, but it'll be soon.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent.
And then just like to say to the people listening at the live show next week, we have Roberto from Flawless Science will be joining us to tell us all about the goodness that he's creating there. So join us again live with him, and for the people that stay and just listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you very much, Jay.
And good night.
Good night. Yeah.
From the Type 1 Radio Lounge.
Thank you.
We're just about out of time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's recording that.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Yep.
Yes.
I just want to say that I'm sorry I dominated the conversation.
No,
but
that was for you to. You done what we wanted you to do.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're just a platform. We're here to facilitate people's views, and it's quite okay that you not ramble, but
no,
that's exactly what we want, really, and thank you very much.
Okay, I'll definitely be in touch with you guys.
Excellent.
Excellent. Okay, take care, mate.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Good night. So reset.
Yeah.
It's just you and me, mate. That's it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So have you got anything to?
I don't know. I kind of thought we were going to get to more of a question and answer kind of thing, but I guess he kind of had to take off there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping to ask him about rotating orgonite.
I think he's still out. Jay, you still there?
I was stuck his phone.
No, he just dropped off a second ago.
Rotating orgonite. What you've done on your little film?
Yeah, with the motor Jay sent me.
The Wobbleite.
Free energy Jay. Yeah, the wobbly orgonite. And I'm still not entirely sure if that's because I only used a cardboard box for a base and it just doesn't have any weight down there, or if the thing actually is off-center.
Possibly, I don't know. How far in is the shaft?
Yeah, that's another thing. It's probably only in maybe a centimeter, half an inch.
You probably
I may need to drill out a little bit more.
Yeah, you probably need to put a bigger shaft on that as well. Have you got any magnets in it?
No, that was when I wanted to hold off on putting the rare earth magnets in it because I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, and I'm glad I held off at this point.
Right, because I don't know about in the States, but over here rare earth magnets are really cheap.
We got a local place in the area called Axeman that just has all sorts of weird random stuff, and they have a display of rare earth magnets, and I think there were about 75 cents a piece for about the size Jay sent us.
Okay, right. Well, I got 10 of the ones that Jay sent us for about $10.
Okay, yeah, that's probably about the same price.
And when I was cutting my stuff up today, it just kept because I did my orgonite today, and those earth magnets kept, attaching themselves to the scissors and the part was a nightmare.
You've been gluing yours together, right, or epoxying them somehow, or?
Yeah, I haven't actually done that yet. I'm gonna try because I'm gonna do what you did, but I was thinking about doing a smaller cone because yours is quite a big cone, isn't it?
Yeah, I kind of wish I'd done it on a smaller scale to start.
Yeah, I was thinking of putting like an egg cup or something, that kind of size, like your original ones you done.
Okay.
Those kind of size ones.
Yeah, like I said, that's just kind of a shot glass kind of shape there.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was going to mention I found a pretty easy way to get the magnets to go together, because one problem I was having when I was trying to get them together at first was being able to hold them together while I was trying to glue them.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was making sure that they were in opposing force, and then getting a vice grips and sticking each one onto the vice grips.
Yeah.
And then, holding my fingers so they wouldn't slide out of position, and then closing it really quick.
Okay.
And they'd stay in place, and then I'd basically just super glue them. And that actually worked really well.
Because once you do that, you can then stick it in the epoxy, and that'll... Because I understand that it doesn't actually affect it in any way. It still does the same thing when it's covered in epoxy. So putting a bigger rod in with that when you're doing that process, and then making your orgonite around that would be brilliant. It would be quite an idea. What do you think?
Oh, I think, yeah, what you're talking about is initially what I thought Jay was talking about was having, like, rotating magnets inside the orgonite, as opposed to having the whole thing rotate. I thought it was a little weird having the whole thing rotate. I thought, yeah, just some magnets on the inside would make more sense.
No, I'm also talking about what you've done, but in the same sort of vein, so that the motor does make it, and it creates a torsion field within the with the orgonite, and shoving that. I mean, do you know how the tower busters and all that work?
Well, I know what a tower buster looks like, I guess. I mean, does it work different than a regular piece of
orgonite?
No,
it just works. It funnels the energy up and shoots it up into the atmosphere. Because apparently, like, according to what Jay was saying about Don Croft, the orgonite on itself only works within a 1/4 mile radius. So that's why you have to gift it to the tower, sort of thing. But if your cloudbuster, is funneled, so if you had like a rotating thing at the bottom of that, I'm wondering if it wouldn't be more like a ray gun kind of thing, which would be pretty cool, which would make it more interesting. That's I don't know. About.
I got a couple other at that Axeman store, a couple other little tiny motors that are a little bit smaller than the one that Jay shipped a few of us.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try and make a few smaller pieces, probably with like you were saying the more some of the first pieces I was making, the smaller ones. Maybe try using that mold. And I don't know, I'm a little conflicted. I got this thing a couple years ago. It's like this little block of 216 rare earth magnets. And it's kind of this little toy. I mean, you can play with the thing, make it into a bunch of different shapes. It's really cool. But I'm almost thinking of just taking them and gluing the magnets together and using them in orgonite.
Yeah, why not?
As opposed to using it as a toy. I don't know.
Yeah. Have you mucked around with sucker punches and stuff like that yet? You know, making your own Mobius.
No, I'm not really familiar with that.
Well, if you go on that site that he talked about, it shows you how to make your own Mobius coils.
Who is that?
Oh, Jay, you know the site, Etheric Warriors site?
No, I've been there a couple of times. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, to make your own Mobius coil, you get your aluminium wire, and you is it a cubit? The Egyptian measurement, and you put it into an S shape basically, and hold all the sort of curved corners, and you get a drill, like a cordless drill. Hold it in one end, and then it spins round, and it wraps round to 45-degree angles, and that's how you can make a Mobius coil. And you then wrap that round a crystal in a certain way, and you charge it up, and it makes sucker punch. Have you toyed with that yet? No.
I think the one time I heard someone talk about something like I think Freighter had a video somewhere around where he had a box of some sort and he was running a charge through it. Is that a sucker punch?
Yeah.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah. But you can make them simpler than that though. You can just have them just a crystal and the wire attached to like a 9-volt battery, and it's supposed to knock out surveillance stuff so you can't be followed. Apparently, I've been reading the Life Etheric, Don Croft's book, and in it there's just some amazing stories about him going off and gifting into sort of like really bad areas where there's lots of surveillance cameras, and they didn't actually find him until he got back home, because that was it. Yeah, so he's gone out and done this mission. I mean, that's a great book. You read it, no?
No, I downloaded his what's the name of it? The Adventures of Don and Laura Croft. I think.
Yeah.
The other book. I downloaded the audio book of that a while ago. I haven't got around to finishing that yet.
Right.
But that's a different one than the one you have, though, right?
Yeah. This is basically
what was the name of
the Life Etheric with Carol Croft. And
And it's basically his life story, and some of it's quite harrowing, but some of it's quite good, because it's all about divorce, getting divorced from his first wife and losing his 4 kids sort of thing through the evil sort of British-based court system that you've got in the States, the break the family unit up sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And this is how he got into it, It's just, there's some great stuff in it. I mean, he's got stories about going out into the middle of the ocean, because they actually have towers, cell towers at the bottom of the sea. And he's been chucking like loads of orgonite in there, and he's actually got stories of dolphins coming up and taking the orgonite off him and placing it by the towers for him. And do you remember a couple of weeks ago Jay was talking about listening to Sasquatch singing? Or actually seeing a Sasquatch? Well, it was the very day after that, the week after that this book arrived. And one of the first couple of pages is about listening to Sasquatch singing. It's great. Wow.
No, that one went over my head, I guess.
Right, well, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Hey, Swami wants to come into the call. Hold on a sec.
Okay. Yeah, we should bring a few people in, actually, shouldn't we?
Hello.
We should try and bring a few boards in, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Bring people in. There's plenty still about.
You there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Swami just tried to call me, but I ended up...
Try and bring Darren in.
Bring Swami in, and then maybe we can...
Okay.
Well, I'll do it.
Okay.
I haven't got Swami.
Have you not?
No. He's feral. Oh, there he is. Hey, Darren.
I've got...
He's not there yet.
No, yeah, Darren, it doesn't look like he's around.
Alright, okay. What about Lobo?
Is that Darren the engine?
No, that's Darren Dude Face. I've seen, what's his name?
John's not on board tonight, then?
No. Hey, what about Jay?
Jay's in the hospital.
He's not, he was on board a minute ago.
Well, he may be on Skype, but he hasn't got a headset. He had to ring me. He had to use the phone at the hospital to ring Skype to ring me. And he needs to rest up.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's he having a valve put in his heart or something?
He had some angioplasty put in, and he said he woke up towards the end of the operation, but he was still rooting around in his chest.
And he said he's got another something coming up in a day or two.
Yeah, he's only been doing...
Oh, this sex yours. What's going on here?
Hello, Mr. Lobo.
Hello, Lobo.
You're live on the Type 1 Radio Lounge. What are you going to say for yourself?
Yeah. We're building the farm up, dude. We're building the farm.
Cool. You got some piggies?
Yeah, we're aiming to get some chickens, and we're moving into a property where April can finally get her horse in the backyard. We'll have some chickens and stuff.
Cool.
So we'll have to get you fuckers out here to permaculture the shit out of it, you know?
We'll perma something out of it.
You be manufacturing some orgonite on the horse farm there?
I think you will, Brett. I think you will, my friend.
Yeah.
You think? You never
Build
know
a
what
giant
that's
tower.
for.
Yeah. Do it. Let's do it. Stellar show, Steve. Stellar show.
Thanks, Mike.
You guys are so, like, dude, autopilot now. It's sexy, man.
Yeah, we're not getting so stoned and drunk anymore.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah. I'm actually doing my annual detox at the minute, so it's quite difficult when When Vic and Nick go out for a smoke, it's like,
Yeah, that's funny. Like, yeah, I cleaned out this week. April quit drinking, and yeah, everyone seems to be cleaning their shit up this year. It's funny. 2012's been really fun, actually.
Yeah. It's definitely been quite a blast so far.
Yes. Mr. Reset, how are you, man?
Good. How you been?
Freaky deaky, man. Crazy busy. Yeah. So you guys, where did someone asked me about Sci-Fi Channel or something? I think it was Sonic. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, we're editing all the episodes together. We got Rewards of Fearless. We're cutting together a TV pilot, and we're going to go to the networks with it, so that try and get on cable. Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, it's becoming apparent that our web series is. I mean, everyone's broke, so it won't be financed through the public. No one's buying any merchandise or anything. So, and then the investors are all going broke as well. So the last resort is Hollywood. Fucking Hollywood.
Yeah.
Good times.
Hollywood. Don't forget, when you make enough dough, you got to get your plane ticket over here, man.
Exactly.
And we
when's the big orgy in Brighton there, man?
When you arrive. The very second.
Right in the airport.
You're Ron Jeremy.
Yeah. Ron Jeremy, he's too old.
Yeah, I think
about them.
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy, yeah, I'll bring him. That'd be fun.
Yeah, why not? Have you heard from Mr. Involved Observer of late? He's been quite quiet.
Oh yeah.
Is he really? Right.
Yeah, he's in Hawaii. I doubt he'll ever come back.
Yeah, we need our guy to come and work on the freaking website. We got some stuff we need to take care of. We can't seem to do it without him.
Yeah. It's just stuck there, man.
It is only his website,
Yeah, I think it needs an upgrade. I think it needs a little upgrade.
Yeah, a little bit.
What are you guys? Yeah, what are you guys thinking there?
1,250 people now. There seems to be like a second wave of people.
Yeah, I noticed that. And yeah, just in the chat room today. Yeah, I haven't been on in a few weeks. I apologize, guys. But dude, yeah, there's a lot of new faces here.
Mm-hmm.
Who are these gals? I'm glad to see some females.
Yeah, there's a few cuties on board. You said. Did you see? There was a little, I think she was 23-year-old girl the other day, and our first friend was Darren, and he was like, "Hello."
That fucker. Hey, Risa, do you have long hair?
I did up until last year, and now it's kind of coming back.
Nice. Yeah, you gotta compete with Dude Face, bro.
There's no contest there, is there?
Yeah, I think mine was probably about 6 inches shorter than his at my longest point.
Well, I'm growing mine now, and it's getting to the bushy, horrible stage,
You go through.
The bit
That stage.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go for it.
Go for it. Stick with it.
Yeah. Ooh, who's meditating?
That was my tuning fork. I was wondering if you caught that earlier in the
yeah, we did, yeah. Because he was talking about
a tuning fork. And I
talking
just had
about
one
wizards
sitting
in
here.
his tuning fork thing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Wow, Reset, dude. Do it again.
I wasn't sure if it would even come across.
That sounds like you're blowing a bottle, doesn't it?
Yeah. Same tone.
Yeah, that's my balls.
Reset.
What's that?
Have you got an Explorer?
An Explorer?
Yeah. Guitar?
Like a vehicle?
No, a guitar.
Oh, no, I have a Gibson Epiphone that has no insides.
I thought that's an Explorer sort of shape though, isn't it?
Actually, it's shaped like a Telecaster.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I don't know. My brother actually bought this way back in the day when he decided he wanted to start playing guitar, and I kind of got it from him because he stopped playing it. But it is kind of a weird design. I think it's a combination of two. But yeah, it has the body of a Telecaster.
Right, and the neck of it, the headstock of a, yeah. 'Cause I always thought they were weird looking guitars myself. You know, Explorers, with the sort of curved top headstock, it's odd.
They all look the same to me. I just deal in noughts and ones.
Yeah, he's a binary boy.
Hey, Steve, how's the lovely lady?
She's good, yeah. She's at work right now, and she's missing. She's actually well, I should probably shouldn't tell you, but she's actually making you a film at the minute.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've let the cat out of the back there.
She hasn't been around on the show as much lately. Is that what she's been doing? Working in other stuff?
Well, she
was on last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but weeks before that, it seems like she's kind of been...
Yeah, well, she went to, she took our kids to her parents' house because the kids were on school holidays.
Oh.
And she works every other Saturday, so she's been thinking. She's still doing tons of research and tons of work for the show, though. She's got Kevin Annett coming back, you know, to do talks here.
Yeah, I had heard about that.
And she's crazy, sort of busy, sort of doing stuff like that. He never sits down, man. It's amazing.
I posted this one link on her friend's Freeman wall, and I can't exactly remember what the name of the article was, but it was something new study shows that fracking does not cause any contamination of groundwater.
Yeah, she's seen that.
And then you read down in the thing, it says that, it's not directly from fracking, but a lot of the chemicals can spill above ground, and that's what's causing the pollution. It was like, well, if they weren't fracking, it wouldn't be happening anyway.
Yeah. No, she did laugh at that, yeah.
That just kind of blew my mind. I mean, if you just read the headline, you're totally getting the opposite story of what the article actually says.
Yeah.
And she loves fracking, so...
He loves fracking, yeah. He's a fracking lover.
Today, I got a little message for a future guest. So we're going to be getting the one and only John Hutchison on the show.
Ooh.
So that will be a fucking great one.
And we've got Steve Wilner as well, apparently, lined up.
That's 17th of March.
Who's that?
Steve Wilner, he's a synchro mystic. Check his videos out, man. They're fucking mind-blowing. They're brilliant.
He's one of the Think Book authors.
Yes.
Freeman had we first heard of him about 4 years ago on Freeman's show, and we just looked at his videos and we just thought, man, you've got way too much time in your hands. But then when you actually look at them, they're just brilliant. They're just so, so out there.
I went back, I went to watch Swiv's videos, and then realised that I'd subscribed to his channel.
You've seen them before, yeah.
And it's just been brought to my attention again.
No, your metaphysical side had subscribed to his videos. Having Jake Cootsey just do these great videos, they're just, I can't recommend them enough. They're just brilliant.
I listened to the 42-minute show that one of them does on the Blog Talk. I listened to that one the other day. I think it was the night after, or the night that they'd done the Sync book thing in New York.
The Tuesday Synchronistic City thing.
Yeah, and it was like their little after show party.
Oh, right.
So that was quite interesting. And so now they're all up for doing some sort of collaboration thing.
Yeah, but they're all on Blog Talk, so we're all the big Blog Talk family.
Yeah.
With Kyle Hunt last week was just hilarious. He was great.
Yeah. And
I just keep seeing his rainbow alphabet everywhere. There's a sign, in the red, because I was making such a big deal about SG, which is Steve Gaddafi and the Red Band. There's a shop down the road called SG Lettings, and it's in a red band. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, so Swami, yeah, he's having microphone issues.
Yeah, I see that.
We better sort it out for tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna bring up, Sonic. We gotta. Yeah, before I forget, I wanted to mention setting up that show for tomorrow, but it sounds like Swami's having mic issues now.
Okay. Well, like last week, I can set the show up, but it will say
3 a.m.
3 a.m. Monday.
Right. No, the only reason that really didn't happen was because I was logged into the wrong account and there was just nothing showing up in the studio. Otherwise, it would have been counting down to the right time, you know.
That'll happen. You need to go into the right one.
Yeah. We need to get something where we don't have to create a new account every month.
Get a chip in though, you know, because see how many.
Well, it's $40, guys. You know, it's not the fucking. It's not the end of the world.
Oh.
Hello.
Where's Carolyn? How's Carolyn?
Where's Carolyn? Yeah, she hasn't been around for us.
Last I heard, she was kind of going on hiatus because she was getting stuff lined up for the sanctuary.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Wow.
That means she found a man.
Yeah.
I hit her up on Facebook a few days ago. She said I have company right now. I'm like,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, she did say that's the place to get a hold of her if you're trying is Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, she's never off the thing.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, she was on for about 10 minutes last week, but then she dropped out because we had two guests on last week, and both of them can talk for their lives basically.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle Hunt was he just rattles through his stuff in the think book, and then we had a guy called Thomas Sheridan on, who just it was 1:30 in the morning before he actually shut up. So there's somebody to give Caroline a run for their money.
We should get them all on together, huh?
Oh, imagine that, yeah. The Type 1 telephone would just collapse.
Into a big singularity.
Yeah. Hey, who's Karen Rose here, man? She's got some info.
Yeah, she's one of Caroline's friends from New Zealand. She's amazing.
I think that may be Judy Baker's cousin or something like that.
She really sounds like she's an alter of Carolyn.
I think she has a show on in New Zealand that Freeman and Jamie have been on recently.
Oh, yes. Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
How can we get
Oh, yes. That was a great interview.
That was a great interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was killer.
And also we've got Monty hopefully lined up for some time.
Yeah.
He said he's agreed to come on. But
About damn time. That's awesome.
I know.
Because that guy, we got to find out what planet he's from. Seriously.
Yeah. I know, he's amazing, isn't he?
So did he not tell you when you were at Sassafras? When you were all discussing where you were coming from? Did he not? Was he a bit secretive?
Oh yeah, he's quite quiet there, man. Sorry, Reese, we just cut you off, dude. Go ahead.
What was I going to say?
Have you got Karen Rose on your thing, Reset?
Yeah.
Can you bring her into this chat?
I don't know if she's online right
No,
now. I mean,
no.
She's talking to friends.
Damn it, there was something I was going to say.
Smoke weed every day.
Yep, that's it.
We didn't actually play that today.
Yeah, no.
I think Steve's on the detox.
Yeah, I mean, if we all are, it's kind of funny. 2012.
Smoke weed every day.
There it is.
There you go.
And just for good measure.
Hi, this is Ron Jeremy. You're listening to Sonic.
We can love that.
Oh shit, we still are on the air, aren't we? recording.
We're a podcast where we can cut this off.
Oh, dude.
Although we probably won't.
New art form.
Yeah. What is it?
You haven't got the Alex Jones.
No. Oh, we found a brilliant. Oh, that was you.
I remember what I was going to say.
Go on.
You're talking about getting Monty on, and Freeman and Jamie had just been on Rose's show in New Zealand, and it struck me that we've never actually had Freeman, Jamie, and Monty, the three of them on the show together.
Exactly.
Well,
we should try that.
We have actually,
Yeah, we
very
have.
very briefly.
Well, yeah, I mean, like as guests though, trying to get them on for a whole show,
That would be awesome. That's a
Yeah,
great
that would be good. Yeah. They're just never. They're always bloody doing something, though, aren't they? They're always either arranging the Type 1 roadshow or
He's sorting out his own show.
they're.
That's right.
I mean, we should have
Oh, come
Fraser
on.
on.
They
We should
can
have
make a little room for us one of these Saturdays, can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do.
They got us all
Little
to
old
death,
us.
damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my thought. So go on.
Lobo, are you up for coming on Fraser's show? Me and Steve have been requested to go on to Radio Free Humanity in April.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna have to get up quite early.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get up in the fucking 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Should we just do loads of speed or loads of coke and just make assholes of ourselves on fucking American Freedom Radio? Yeah, you know what, Phil? I love you, man. You're so cool.
So
that's how that one will go.
Brett and Brandon told me that they did they did a radio show, and Frater called them the next day or after the show and said, "Were you guys on mushrooms or something?"
Yeah, that was it. Type 1, wasn't it?
What, the one that they did?
The one that they did, the one it was completely car crash. It was so...
Yeah.
It was the rabbit hole one.
The rabbit hole one, yeah, that's it, yeah. That was instead of Jay's activation, wasn't
That
it?
was it, yeah. Yeah, they were just given the time, weren't they? And, yeah.
Yeah, Brett played all his own songs and all that, didn't he? Which he
Yeah.
recorded in a fucking matchbox somewhere.
And was freeing everybody's mind.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I haven't heard from him for ages. I send him messages every now and then and he just gets back saying, "Oh, hi dude, that's it." Is he back in
New Jersey.
New Jersey, right?
And the,
Did he run out of money or something?
Oh yeah, he hit me up. I think he's gonna be coming back soon. I think he's still in Hawaii, actually.
Who,
Do
Brett?
they or
Who, Brett?
yeah, I think Brett's back in New Zealand.
is he back? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Brett's back in Jersey.
All right, 'cause, yeah, he was talking about stopping by through California again. All right, cool.
Now, the first thing he said when he got back was he was depressed because he wasn't in Hawaii.
Oh, bet, yeah.
Yeah.
You would be, yeah. So are you moving house then, Phil?
Yeah, we're just moving down the road. We happened to cross this thing. It was a karma gift. It was a 1 acre. It's a 1 acre horse property that fell into our lap here.
Wow.
It's not much more than what we're paying now. And we're getting twice the house and 1
Quite
acre.
the booty, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, I think this was. I don't think this was an accident. So I mean, we're surrounded by all these permaculture geeks. So
Right.
you're all invited, man.
Excellent. In April's, how many horses? She's got 2, yeah?
She got one in Michigan, one here down like an hour away. So we're gonna get the one here up here, and then probably in the fall we'll get the one from Michigan up here. And then,
wicked. Excellent.
dude, and then it's Green Acres after that.
Are you still up in
Green
the
Acres, yeah.
still up in the mountains though?
Yeah, we're still at 5,000 feet, and it's wild. It's gonna be wild. We're gonna have chickens and the whole deal. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, excellent.
And then we'll, Freeman and Jamie are heading out to California soon, so we're gonna put those fuckers to work.
Well, at least you'll have a big delivery van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get your astrological chart done as well.
Yeah. By your removal firm. For removals.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie's family lives out here.
Oh, really?
Like an hour away. So yeah, they're planning to be out here for like most of the spring, I think, in California.
Oh, wicked. Where are they right now?
I think they're still in Austin.
Right, yeah, because I haven't been posting any films lately. It's been quite thin on the ground on that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think
Miss Emily stuff's dried up.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, that'll change. We'll change that.
Yeah.
We're just on hiatus.
Well, no, Monty's doing his blog, which is good.
Yeah.
Keep up with that a lot.
Yeah, I get the feeling Monty is from a star system that no one has been talking about. He's like a spy. He's just sitting there.
He's a scout.
Yeah.
He's actually from Austin, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
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 And then you'll be sitting there having a conversation with some people, and all of a sudden he'll just show up he'll materialize out of thin air, man. You never see him enter a room.
He just materialises.
Yeah.
It's funny, he's a Thin Lizzy fan as well, which is really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how old is he? He's 30, yeah, mid-30s. So, I mean, they broke up years ago. Well, he died years ago, 20 years ago, Phil Lynott sort of thing. So, they're primarily from the 70s.
Yeah.
So how can somebody, I mean...
Well, maybe his mum and dad were into it.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah. It's just odd.
Wait, did you say Monty's in his 30s?
Yeah, he's 35.
Okay. In human years.
In human years? Yeah. I don't know what that is in Andromeda, but it's... They must have had, yeah. Imagine having Thin Lizzy in that star system. Because they're not that esoteric, eh, Thin Lizzy? They're pretty much chicks and beer type.
Yes. Yes. All right, we're going to stack the wood.
Yeah, we're going to go hiking.
You're on live with Ladybug. Yeah, Ladybug.
Hello, Ladybug.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah.
We're
How are you? Oh, the dogs say hello too.
Excellent.
Okay. You get it.
Reset.
Leave for 30 seconds. What's this?
So I'm gonna go downstairs and then.
All right. Okay.
It
Cool.
was nice chatting with you very briefly.
Okay. Take care.
Have a good hike.
Busy gal. She's working hard because we got to set up that farm.
Oh, that was your wife, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I walked out of the room for a second to go talk to Dad about dinner. I come back and there's all these weird horse noises going on, and there's some woman on there. What's going on?
Typical orgy, the West Coast orgy.
You know.
Any
Yeah,
kids
what's for
on the
dinner?
way yet, Phil?
What's that?
Is there any kids on the way yet?
No, we got horses on the way, dude.
Oh, she's going to have trouble pushing that out, isn't she?
Yeah.
Horses and dogs.
I don't think it was meant to be, but you know what? Thanks for asking. We are surrounded by a lot of kids now, though. Like, a lot of kids. So there's no shortage.
Yeah. Probably the best way to do it, to have them. Sorry.
Yeah.
At least that way you can give them back.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to see my little nephew and niece, my sister's twins, yesterday, and they're so cute. They're like 7 months old, and they're just starting eating solids. It's quite funny.
Wow.
Wow.
We took them out for a little jaunt whilst she was going shopping. I was in the car with them, trying to keep them asleep.
Best place to keep them is in the car.
Yeah.
The vibrations keep them singing. We used to drive Hannah around the corner just to make her shut up and put her to sleep.
Well,
Did you get them any harmonic protectors or anything like that?
No. Well, I just made a bunch of orgonite, so it'll probably be ready by now, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. Maybe she can
How many
check.
pieces did you say you made?
12 and a holy hand grenade. 12 tower busters and a holy hand grenade.
Holy shit! Wow.
So did that use up a whole gallon of resin?
I only had half a gallon.
Half a gallon, okay.
Yeah. But I was cutting metal from December, no, before that, but maybe from the end of November till last week, and it only made that much. I had a whole stack of it. I thought that's going to make loads, but it didn't. It just made it was like so disheartening. That's basically 3 months' work for 12, lousy bits. I really go with Jay Parker's thing about buying it pre-cut. That's a great idea.
Well, I don't know. Like you said, using the steel wool. I've been getting my steel and copper pretty much in steel, the wool form in stores in the cleaning sections. And I basically just cut it up with a pair of shears, basically.
Yeah. Well, I've been stripping wire and doing it that way, and it takes forever. And your blisters you get on your fingers and stuff, you're thinking...
Yeah, I only use the wire for coiling now. When I first started, I was cutting up the wire, trying to make that as metal shavings or something. But it just does not. It doesn't make sense to do it that way.
Yeah, no, you're right there. How do you do your coils, by the way?
Well, I was making them bigger up until recently. I found that they come out in a better shape if I don't make them quite as big. But basically, I take we have like a walnut. You got the tools to crack nuts and scrape the nut out.
Yeah. Nut cracker.
Yeah, it's one of the scraping tools. Has a little rounded end, and I kind of get after I twist the coil, the straight wire, I kind of tighten it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then go from one end and just kind of wrap it around that one little tiny bit, twist it around until it starts a little tiny circle, and then just kind of take my fingers and start coiling it up on itself slowly. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, go on.
Basically that way, and then as the further out you get, you kind of need to pinch it a little tighter to keep it from, folding it. Yeah, to keep it in a circular thing rather than flopping over on itself.
Yeah.
It's actually taken a little while to figure out.
Yeah. I was using a lot along those pliers and starting at the bottom, like pinching them on and then wrapping it around and then just pulling off. So I was starting at the top and it was too tight to pull off. Did you see those pictures on Facebook that Sonic took of the little crystal stuck in the in the wire?
I put them on the Type 1 Radio Lounge page.
I never get onto Facebook.
Good for you.
Good for you, yes.
I'll try and... I think I've downloaded it, so...
Yeah, the only reason I signed up for a Facebook account was because Carolyn talked me into it.
I still haven't done it, so...
Don't do it.
Don't CIA it.
Well, I created one so Steve can use.
Right, yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Use it once.
So if you get a friend request from Sophia Type 1 Radio Rad, then that's Steve.
Right on.
Oh, I'm on there right now, Sonic. So these are the pictures of the glass dildo? Is that what this is?
Yeah. It's the glass butt plug.
Wow.
Good, huh?
Wow. Man, I mean, I don't know. You see the masses when I don't know what they'll think of us. They'll think we're witches and stuff.
I can't remember what I told you. Well, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, you can, Phil can see him there.
Can you send it to reset, Phil?
The link?
No, the picture.
Pictures, yeah, sure, you got it. One
I'll
sec.
send him the link and
He said he doesn't go on Facebook, though.
well, he's on there. The fact that he doesn't go on, he can still see them.
Yeah. Are you going to call Freighter tonight? Oh.
If we're here, yeah, if we're here, absolutely. But yeah, it's been hella crazy right now. Yeah, we're showing that in order to move, we gotta find someone to take our place in our current spot. So,
Why is it the same landlord?
Same realtor, yeah.
Yeah, right. Well,
So you've got to do their job for them.
Pretty much.
Do you get commission?
No, we get an awesome house on the other side of the hill.
Okay, well,
fair enough.
that's an incentive and a half.
Yeah, well.
All right, 1 second reset. Oh, I talked to Alan Abadessa last night on Saturday.
All right.
And how is he?
He's doing great. He's saying the Think book is they're selling a shitload of those, man.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's a great book.
Yeah. I was reading his little bit yesterday. All the happy creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Bit in the car with in between settling the twins.
God, what chapters I read? I read the one down it, and there's this guy. I think he's on before. There's one before Kyle.
Right.
Someday Hunter. Is it?
Oh yeah. Can't remember.
He's talking about making up a sigil and like masturbating, and then just as you make your sigil up, you just before you ejaculate, you give it its personality. It's like, oh,
what?
Hell, mate, yeah.
Who was that again?
I want to try.
Yeah. That's not weird. He's actually an extra in movies.
Right.
And there's a picture of him there with, what's the guy from, oh, bloody hell. The guy from Platoon. Charlie Sheen.
Yes.
Fucking hell, lunatic. He's going, yeah, I haven't got much time to talk about stuff like this, but yeah, this is what I like to do. And he's a professional movie extra.
Ah, yeah.
As well as a... Oh, I should go and get it, shouldn't I? Find out.
Yeah, there's the Screen Extras Guild. They make money in residuals and all that. It's crazy. Go ahead, reset.
This crystal is a negative image, right?
Yeah, it's I think it's either a negative or a polarized thing. I think it is a negative. It's just like one of the little camera filters on my phone.
Right. Okay.
I just thought they looked pretty cool through that one.
That's sexy. This is all glass?
They're all crystals.
Crystals. I'm sorry. Wrong terminology. I apologize. Yeah. Because I named the file glass dildo. That's what it's called.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was really eager to download
True
that.
to form there, Mr. Lobo, sir.
And, thank you very much for the video that you placed on my picture, my Parker picture.
Prince, baby.
Yeah.
Prince.
I went on a bit of a Prince tip last night after that.
Wicked.
Just listening to loads of songs from Purple Rain and yeah, fucking great.
That's a killer photo, Sonic. Is that a hand-rolled cigarette, my friend?
That's a doobie.
No doubt.
Yeah, the guy I was talking about is Christopher C. Myers. He's Mercury's messenger. He's a lunatic, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, that picture was just taken by Howard on the beach. Yeah, a few weeks ago. It was quite a nice day, but very cold.
It looks gorgeous and sunny. How was Howard, by the way?
Yeah, he's okay. He's very good. He's panicking because his current job has ended. The contract ended, but he's still got work at the same place. He's just waiting for another NHS contract to sort itself out. They're just waiting on references and things like that. But yeah, he's pretty cool. Enjoying life with myself.
Hell yeah. Right on.
It was Martin Sheen. He got a photograph of as well. By the way, the guy I was talking about.
Martin Sheen. Okay.
JFK.
Yeah.
And he played two presidents, didn't he? Because he was the president in the West Wing.
The West Wing, yeah. I'll try to see if I can find the film he's in with him. Grant Morrison. Have you ever heard of Grant Morrison?
Grant Morrison.
Yeah, he's the guy who's got this thing. It's called pop magic, and it's that's how you make your sigil up, by masturbating, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
I was watching a film the other day, and one of your God Reward the Fearless dudes was in it. No, I think it was actually Homeland. You know, the new this new sort of fear-mongering show that's come up. It's probably on already over there with Claire Danes and that guy out of James Bond. He was the baddie, James Bond.
It's probably Maury Sterling. Yeah, Maury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the guy in Let's Do This. On the roof with Willie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm meeting with those two on Monday because we're going to start developing the storyline for the pitch to the networks. It's going to be fun.
Cool.
Well, send our love to them.
Thank you. I mean, it sounds exciting, but god damn it, it's Hollywood. It's just...
Yeah. Every week a new pitch, isn't it?
Oh, dude, it's such horseshit. The whole industry.
Yeah.
Good God. But thank you guys. I'll let you know how it goes. Homeland. I haven't seen Homeland yet, man.
I watched the sort of about half an hour of the first episode, the last half an hour, and it appears to be very much propaganda-y to about homecoming vets, and if they've been captured in any way, then there's some sort of suspicion that why didn't they kill them, and so they obviously must be. And the guy that's like the main character, he's sort of turning out to be like working for one of these
commies.
Not sort of like I don't want to say terrorist group because just sort
that's
of
what the government are.
The
fucking terrorist group.
The other enemies, the Arabian enemies there of the US. It just smacks of propaganda though, fear mongering. And maybe it's actually the way it's been timed with the National Defence Authorization Act.
Yeah.
Can intern anybody in the States. So they're putting the idea of serving or homecoming veterans being potential terrorists.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when you do your pitch, Phil, you just say, right, what do you want, Illuminati guys? I'll do it.
Depends on the check, yes.
Yeah. Georgia Guidestones, yeah, buddy, we got that down, yeah.
Where is that casting couch?
Yeah. I read somebody wrote the other day that it's not the Jews that run Hollywood, it's the Jewish casting directors who run Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no doubt. Good times. All right, fellas, I got to run. The wife is cracking the whip.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to run as well, yeah.
The show is just about to the podcast is just...
Yeah, well, thanks for being a guest on the Type 1 Radio Lounge, which you helped set up, Phil. Well done.
Yes,
when are you going to come back and do your stuff?
Yeah, we want a new Dude Face and Lobo show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're definitely working on that. He wanted to work on a psilocybin mushroom THC show, and
he was saying last night, and he also wants to do a show where he interviews you.
Whoa.
Oh, that'd be sexy. That'd be quite.
That'd be sexy, yeah. And of course, we've got to get Caroline to get you Bitchy Macaco.
Yeah.
Because that show's got to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely yes. That one, yes. And
yeah, Phil and Mitchy kick the bong around.
We should. I think with the psilocybin podcast or the radio show, I think we should just drop mushrooms. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny. We were just talking about that tonight. That Carolyn Rose, not Carolyn Rose, but Rose NZ, whatever, from New Zealand. Yeah, she was talking about it. I've got some on hand. And Retta has just ordered some she's got on the way.
Oh my god.
So us three were talking about it.
Oh, dude.
The Type 1 mushroom bonanza.
There you go.
That'll get some ratings.
Yeah. Maybe that's the show Monty should come on as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we can understand them.
He can be the only non-mushroom taker there, and we all just understand exactly what he's saying.
Well, what about if we just eat bits of Monty? That'd certainly trip you out, wouldn't it?
Yes, dear. Yes, dear, I'm coming. I'm coming.
Well, that concludes the Type 1 Radio Lounge for this week. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and remember, Roberto from Flawless Science will be on next week's show. And then, more good shows to come, everybody. Take care, and love to all you guys.
We love you fuckers. Wonderful job.
And I'll send you some pictures reset of. I'll post them on the Orgonite site. Of my
do that.
Cool.
All right, well, we'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Cool. Bye.
All right.
Bye.